What's up guys, my name is RBG and welcome to another Transformers movie related video. This is a segment where I cover news regarding the latest TF movies and create different discussions and theories on what will be featured in the films. Today I wanted to create a wish list on robots I want to see in the newest film titled Transformers Universe Bumblebee. I figured since you guys love the wish list video I did on TF5, why not just make it an annual thing since it's been announced that these movies will be released on a yearly basis. Now, since the Bumblebee movie will be taking place 21 years before the events of the first film, I feel like it would be the perfect time to feature more classic G1 characters who didn't make the cut. The fact that this film will take place in the 80s makes it feel like we're treading back to those G1 roots. There are so many opportunities to fix the things that the last films deliberately got wrong, and there's a chance that those who've given up on the film will get back on board if the script is done correctly. They're already breaking the Bay tradition where the movie's gonna debut in the winter instead of the summer, so we have a little over a year to get things in order. With all that said, let's get into our list. First up is Blaster. This is a character we really need to see in the movies or future installments down the line because he's not really featured as prominently in the modern Transformers universe. As a matter of fact, I think the G1 show is the only time we've seen him in animated action, and this is including the '86 movie. But anyways, Blaster was and is one of the coolest Autobots fans have ever bear witness to, a miniature ghetto blaster boombox. Yeah, one could argue that he's nothing more than an offset version of Soundwave, but I sorta beg to differ. The fact that hip-hop was the big thing at the time and beginning to flourish, it was sort of a common thing to see your local disc jockey or b-boy toting around a boombox. I think this is something that gave Blaster that big appeal, especially for the black audience. I mean, yeah, we had Jazz who catered to the hip-hop genre with his breakdancing and his black voice actor, but Blaster just seemed to embody that culture more. And as I said, since this film is supposed to be set in the 80s, it'd be fitting to have him in. As far as his alt mode is concerned, I'm not sure if they should go the classic route. Like, I don't think an oversized boombox would look right in the universe shot in this realistic format. This has been shown with characters like Frenzy, but I think the designers could make some kind of tricked out vehicle that's equipped with speakers or something that's hip hop centric. Next up is the Insecticons. Say what you want about the live action movie verse and their lack of faithfulness to the source material. By now it's a given that they'll never come close to getting the characters right like they did in the first film, but what they lack in research they more than make up with their creative visuals. Watching scenes like Ravage sneak into a tightly secured top secret facility with millions of micro drones and Shockwave cause utter chaos with his giant driller goes to show how much the special effects team are willing to up the scale. Hell, I'd even go so far as to say that some of the KSI drone transformation sequences in Age of Extinction were creative, even though they failed to realize why the property they're filming is called quote-unquote Transformers. So yeah, there's always going to be that one moment that showcases visual eye candy in each film. With that said, I feel that those VFX talents should be utilized on the Insecticons. They're some of the most quintessential villains that can go from being low tier lackeys to top tier antagonists. Ravenous and aggressive, Insecticons can digest 95% of known matter, reshaping their findings into enormous subterranean hives. Existing as a near-hive mind, they represent a deadly and invaluable resource for those willing to find a way to tame them. But since we don't have the brilliant mind of the likes of Shockwave, we'll have to settle for someone else to take up the leadership role. I'm thinking some of the main insect robots like Kickback, Hardshell, or maybe Sharpshot. Each robot has proved to be a staple in the Gen 1 era of Transformers, and it would be so cool to see them make their live action debut, especially for a movie set in the 80s. I know we've seen similar iterations of the Insecticons in the Bay movies like Megatron's Chromosomes, but those don't really show a fraction of what the menacing Decepticon horde can do. It'd be sick seeing Kickback lead a massive swarm of fellow Insecticons as they consume everything in sight. Next on my list is the highly stylized Sunstreaker. You know what they say, in every pile of shit there's always a rare jewel that's waiting to be polished. And out of that steaming turd known as Revenge of the Fallen came Sideswipe, the dual-bladed speed skater. As bad as that film was, Sideswipe quickly garnered a following from modern Transformers fans while reminding G1 fans that you can make the classic characters even cooler. But with all that said, we didn't get a chance to see our favorite badass showcase his coolness enough. After 2 good runs in the live action movie verse, he mysteriously vanished, creating a wide array of theories on if he got killed off by Cemetery Wind or simply went into hiding after the events of Chicago. So fans have their fingers crossed that he'll make a return in future films. Now I know that since Bumblebee is a prequel, we most likely won't get our Silver Speedster, but we can get the next best thing in the form of his twin brother, Sunstreak. He's basically Sideswipe dialed up to 11, a hard-headed and egotistical robot who can be difficult to work with at times. But no matter how glaring his flaws are, he more than makes up with his effectiveness on the battlefield. Since B is known for being a young speed demon in the movie universe, it'll be neat seeing someone like Sunstreaker serve as friendly competition. And since Bumblebee will most likely lack the ability of speech, Sunstreaker can be the run-of-the-mill motor mouth. I mean, in most incarnations, mainly the comics, he can prove to be quite audible when expressing how pissed he is when a fellow Autobot can't keep up. I think this would be the perfect time to reintroduce him because he's another one of those G1 characters who hasn't resurfaced in modern media, unlike his brother who's made appearances in the aligned continuities like Robots in Disguise and Rescue Bots. If they include Sunstreaker, I think it's mandatory that he shares some of the likenesses of his twin, like the wheeled feet. It would also be smart if he gave a brief mention of Sideswipe so the movies can show a little consistency. Rolling up in the next spot is Minosaur, the powerhouse combiner who'd be the perfect weapon if he wasn't so dense. Last year I mentioned how I wanted to see one of the Stunticons, Motormaster, in TF5 The Last Night. He would have proved to be an admirable foe for Optimus Prime since he also has a diesel truck alt mode and can take considerable amounts of damage. Hell, we almost had him in Age of Extinction until Michael Bay decided to scrap the idea and change him to Galvatron, a decision he probably wishes he never made. I know I'm pushing my load with this one because he'll no doubt prove to be a costly addition to the roster with him being a massive robot, but this is just my wishful thinking. Having the Stunticons will make for some awesome high-speed chases and action sequences, and Minosaur can be like one of those climactic bosses that our heroes have to find some kind of way to overthrow. The Combiner consists of 5 robots who all possess extreme intellects, but they're so smart they share different views on who should be the leader, causing the group to hamper Minosaur's psychological well-being. I'm not sure if the films will ever include that aspect since the robots get minimal screen time, but nonetheless it'll be sick seeing the chaotic giant run wild. Coming up next on the Autobot wishlist is a Transformer I think many fans have been asking for what seems to be like ages now, Ultra Magnus. For some strange reason, this guy has been getting underutilized in Transformers products across the board, from the games, the shows, etc. And I don't really understand why that is. You'd think the name Ultra Magnus would describe how kick-ass the swagged out blue and red Big Bot can be. He possesses all the tools to get the job done, and I think it's high time the fans see someone other than Optimus bust some Deceptichops for a change. If you ask me, this is the perfect time to introduce him as sort of a leader or mentor to be, since the likes of Optimus haven't yet made it on Earth at this time period. I mean, yeah, for the most part, Ultra Magnus is known for being the humble soldier who prefers to carry out orders instead of issuing them, but it's time we see an iteration that sort of deviates away from that, because I think fans, including myself, believe that he was more worthy of taking up the matrix of leadership during his run in the original movie. Now, if he does make it in, I think it would be mandatory to have him die in some kind of dramatic way to make B step up his game and somewhat mature as a warrior. Anyways, if Ultra Magnus has already shown what he can be like in the Transformers Prime series, then I think the writers already have a good idea of what he can be like in the live action movies, which the series borrows heavily from. And the last Decepticon I have on the list is Barricade. And yes, I know some of you are probably tired of seeing him by this point, but I think he's the best rival for B. I mean, it's obvious that the two have a well-documented history with each other, but it'll be smart to show how it all started. When exactly did Barricade touch down on Earth, and how did he spend his time? Those are some of the looming questions fans have been wondering about for our four-eyed savage. But anyways, who do you want to see make an appearance in the latest Transformers film? Do you agree with some of the ones I mentioned for my list? I want to know, so leave your picks in the comment box below. As always, I'd appreciate it if you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. Any feedback is good feedback and will only help improve on future content. And if you're new to the channel and want to see more vids like this, or you just like Transformers uploads in general, subscribe and click on that notification button. But anyways, this was your boy RBG signing out on another video. I will catch you guys later. Peace out.
Go back to the heart of the war.
Autobots and Decepticons, prepare for battle, stay by the transform, and all the speaking. Change can happen from within, you never know. That's Optimus Prime, change, you know me, let me